We're upgrading the 12-volt system in this, my Dream 300 series. We've been living out of this car for the past 3 months, and we've identified 4 key areas that need upgrading to take it that one step closer to being the ultimate tow tourer build. I've only got a workspace for 1 day, so I need to get all of these upgrades done before the sun goes down. Let's get into it. All right, so I've got a couple of jobs I need to do today. The first one is going to be getting rid of the solar panel on the top here so that I can install a bigger one. First thing to do, get the old one off. So there you go. Those are just some, I think they're called an MC4 connector. So just disconnect those and then the new panel just gets connected straight into that. Alrighty, so we've got the old panel off there. All right, so this is the old panel. Oh, that was underwhelming. There you go. 80 watt, 170 watt. That's sort of the thickness of the 80 watt panel, and this the thickness of the 170. That's nice and slim. The way I mounted this one was just using screws through the side. The 170 watt, it's going to be a little bit trickier because this is actually really thin. So what I've done is I've got the mounting kit for it. That just means that I can mount it properly, because the last thing I want is a solar panel flying off on the highway. I think that's going to be where the panel lives. Wow, it is a lot thinner. That's really nice, actually. I'm really happy with that. So with the panel, roughly where it's going to live, the cables are long enough. I'd have to just tie that on there, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's one of those jobs where I just know that I'm going to be up and down here several times. One bracket there, another bracket there, both sides. That should be sufficient. So I'm just going to mark. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just rough where the bracket sits. Yep. So, piece of cardboard to just protect it while I put it down the table. So what I'm going to be using is this. This is known as a bridge plate. It's sold by ARB themselves, and these specific bridge plates are dirty because they were holding up the previous solar panel, and I trust them because they used to, 4 of these bridge plates used to hold the rooftop tent on the Land Cruiser. So the rooftop tent weighs 64 kilograms. I'm going to fit the same number of bridge plates for the solar panel, and it weighs 10, so I'm not too worried. If I have a look here, that is where the bridge plate needs to sit, and there is a nice 8mm overlap point there. So I'm happy with that one. So the panel's mounted to the roof rack now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop my fridge off. And then I've got this battery monitor here saying, what is that, 50 milliamps. Yeah, so barely any current draw in the car right now, which is exactly what I want. So I'll just hop up on the roof and we'll just hook up the solar panel. There we go. Right, so it's been running for a little while on the fridge. The fridge has been drawing a little bit. All right, so we're getting 9.3 amps, but bear in mind, current voltage on that battery is 13.4 volts. Even though the panel's putting out probably close to 10 amps or pumping close to 10 amps into the battery, that's also into a battery that's probably quite full already. I dare say we'd probably get a bit more than that. All right, so that is the solar panel on the roof done. It's mounted, it's plugged in, the battery is actually full, but for those days where I still get a bit of an overcast sky, or I'm parked under trees or something, I still want the opportunity to be able to get additional solar into the battery, particularly because it's running my Starlink and because I want to run the fridge. So what I did on our recent trip across from our east to west trip was I installed a secondary solar input. It just parallels into the main solar input, and what that allows me to do is hook up a solar blanket or another solar panel away from the car. But what I wasn't able to do at the time was mount the Anderson plug. So I've got a red Anderson plug for my solar gear, and I haven't actually had the opportunity to mount it. So what I'm going to do today is to take this. This is a panel mount connector. What is it called? Flush mount faceplate with 50 amp connector. And I'm going to pull the gray plug out, pop the red one in, and install this into the wing for the drawer system. All right, so what we have here is the side wing on my drawer system. What this is the solar input that I'm talking about that I need to mount. 50 amp output, so you can run things like compressors and that off of that output. I've got a couple of USB points here, which I use a fair bit, and then these are the lights around the cruiser. This is the new panel mount connector. I'm not going to mount it up here. It can fit, but the reason I'm not doing that is if you have a look from this perspective, if I put a Anderson plug in there, the door is closing right on it, because this is where the door closes here against the seal. So if I put an Anderson plug in there, it's going to bend the cables. So I'm going to move it down here, so that when I'm camping particularly, it means I can plug in a solar panel or solar blanket and still close the door on it and just pinch the cables in the seal here, and it won't wreck the Anderson plug going into the solar input. So all I need to do now, find a nice home for this. So here's my little stencil that I've just cut out. What I'm going to do is put it in there. I've grabbed myself a Sharpie with a nice fine tip. Get that lined up nicely. Alrighty. So that is the portion that needs to be cut out. Pop the little center section out, and it means I can get the Anderson plug in there now. All I've got to do is route the red Anderson plug out through the hole, affix it to the bracket, screw the bracket into place, and then I'm done with that. All right, so the secondary solar input is wired up on the back of the cruiser. But while I was there, I remembered that I'd forgotten to wire up a switch that I installed in front here. So I've installed a second switch next to the Starlink switch. So that's the Starlink relay. This is a switch to activate a set of relays in the back of the car to switch on both of these side lights. I don't have an automated switch panel or a smart switch panel or anything like that. Everything in the cruiser, in terms of the secondary battery and the accessory setup, is set up with simple switches. Just the way I like it, quite simple. I like keeping things straightforward and simple because it's easier for me to diagnose faults and issues when I encounter them. So I'm going to use a set of relays to activate these lights, but leave the switching in the rear of the vehicle active so that I can selectively switch them on. All right, so here we have the back end of the draw system in the 300 series with the 12 volts setup. So you've got MIDI fuses for the higher current draw devices, and you've got a fuse block here which covers all the lower current rating fuses. That's for things like lights. The Starlink runs through that. The fridge also runs through this panel. So when I was hooking up the Starlink before we left on our big trip, I ran a multi-core cable in through the front of the vehicle, down along the back, and then I terminated it out the back here. I have some spare cables within that. So that switch, the trigger wire basically, when you flick that switch on, you're going to get a 12 volt signal through one of these wires. I can't remember off the top of my head which cable it is. Haha, blue. Those are the relays that activates the rack lights, both sides. I've tested it, it all works. Which reminds me, while I'm here, that I have got a new battery monitor that I want to wire up. So I'm going to pull the current one out and install the new one. All right, so a couple of things bother me about this battery monitor that I've got in here. The first problem is I've actually just mounted it on some P-clips that I've then zip tied to the shunt. So the new Renogy monitor that I'm replacing this with has a bracket that is supplied with the monitor. This battery level indicator is based on voltage. So if you run this on an AGM battery, no worries. If you run it on a lithium battery, it's no good. That nicely located. Just put 2 more screws in there to make sure that that bracket cannot move. Then only thing to do is we have to attach a battery positive here. There you go. Nearly thought I forgot my stubby. All right, so here we have the completed setup. So the first thing that I did was to add the additional solar panel up top and add panel mount the secondary input for my solar panel. So I don't have the solar panel with me today just because I'm out driving. I'm just come to record this, but it is horrendously cloudy. It's still early in the day, so it's only about 10 o'clock. Yes, I am having a beer at 10 a.m. because I can. And we are getting, well, the fridge is running now, but we're getting sort of 2 amps in from the panel. And I tested it yesterday. So I ran the Starlink to really kill the battery overnight, and what I managed to get was, so I got the battery down to about 20%, and the panel was pumping in 14 amps at around midday. So it's doing exactly what I intended for it to do. We've also got the new Renogy battery monitor. I love it, it's great. And the thing that I really, really like about it is when Engela, my wife, looks at it, she goes, oh yeah, I understand what that's saying. So the other monitor was really small, really hard to sort of understand. And then the last update is the side light switch, which I wired up, which I'll show you tonight. So here we are, it's nighttime, the sun has very obligingly gone down for us. And I just wanted to show you the lighting setup around the car, and that's for one of those scenarios where you get to camp late at night. So right now the car's headlights are on because the car is idling, and if I pop the car into reverse, you'll see the awesome low level, really bright LEDs in the Cruiser company rear bar. So those have been integrated already. And then for the new party piece, if I hit this button over here, I get the spread from those side lamps that we just wired up earlier in the day. And as you can see, you get that really good 360 lighting setup, which is invaluable when you're setting up late at night or when you get to camp late. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the cost to build this Land Cruiser. Otherwise, check this one out. See you next time.